Pro Bowl games analyst. Ladies and gentlemen, Dan Orlovsky. What the hell is Chris Mad Dog Russo burying you for on First Take today? I thought it was very impressive. He said I could do that. I heard him in the middle of the thing saying that he could do what you did.
Can't.
I don't like that, Dano. I don't like it at one bit. And if you would like to address the dog here, go ahead and the floor is yours, Dano.
I got nothing to say about that, man. I'll bite my tongue on it. Usually I'm
This guy sucks. This ain't a guy that puts up the highest score at the quarterback carnival.
Nope.
Just rolling over and dying whenever Chris Mad Dog Russo lifted up his back right leg and pissed all over your weekend.
Come on.
That ain't what we're about here, Dan. I don't like what he did.
Like I said, I'm gonna bite my tongue on it. He's a Hall of Famer, but the only thing I'll say about it is I thought what he said was classless. So,
wow,
hell yeah,
that's powerful.
Go, Dan.
Oh, Dan, I saw you tweet that. Coming out of your mouth, it just sounds a little bit harsher.
Classless.
Classless, this guy. He does do edibles. He does make bets. He's been talking to microphones for a long time.
Hates Thanksgiving.
But he
Hall of Famer.
Hall of Famer.
Hall of Famer.
Hates Thanksgiving because he's going to hang out with his family.
Right. Doesn't want to do that as well.
Has some phenomenal rants, but let's move past the negativity. Let's talk about the positive. Phenomenal performance here. You're actually the only guy that threw a football that we saw documented that buried this. Is this 45-yard toss? How far is this throw here?
I think it's 50 because it's from the 40. So this is like the story behind it. I think it's 50 because
nobody else made that.
Bucket. No big deal. So this was Friday. No, this was Wednesday. We were there to do, obviously, I had to tape the closest to the pin, and then at UCF we were doing the NFL Live show that day.
What?
That wasn't live?
What?
That wasn't live.
Wait.
Golly.
The pin?
Go ahead. Thanks for reading.
Taped.
Anyways.
They were doing the dry run, like the working the logistics of everything for Thursday night, and they were like, "Hey, will you come over and just run through one so everyone gets the moving parts?" And I was like, "Sure." So I threw a couple 15 warm-up throws, and I was like, all right, what do I do? And when the horn goes, throw. If you hit one, you can't hit it again type of thing, this and that. So I just went, and I did it, obviously, and then I was like, oh, not bad. And then I feel bad, to be honest with you. I feel bad as the days have gone on. Maybe I'm soft, but
don't feel
the internet is great.
It's the greatest thing you've ever accomplished athletically. What are you talking about?
Relax. He's the all-time leading passer at UConn in all the categories still, so let's relax.
Who's second, me?
Yeah. Doesn't matter.
No.
I guess he's number one.
Yeah.
You can always spin it. I mean, people, Dan Orlovsky can spin it.
Yeah,
for sure.
It's still,
What's up with Boston Connor and Mad Dog today?
Well, Boston Connor's every day. I don't know about how Mad Dog treats you every single day, but that's every day from Con Man.
Say new, Dan.
Yeah, congratulations, though. I don't think you should feel bad at all. The only thing you should feel bad about is that the state of the quarterbacks at the Pro Bowl games couldn't beat you. That's not
what
your
I feel
fault.
bad about. If I'm being real, dude, I feel bad because, those dudes are all thousands of times better than I am. This isn't me being corny. They are. So, I feel, and I don't want, the last thing I would want is, one of those guys to think, dude, Orlovsky trying to show us up type of thing. That's not what I was.
Before they did it.
Yeah, but Orlovsky, the things you say into microphones all year,
true.
I'm sure these guys have heard, right? But you put up.
Yeah, but I don't ever come across as, I don't think, disrespectful in that regard.
Yeah, but you're not disrespectful because you were spinning it at the quarterback carnival. Yeah. You should be proud of yourself.
The big thing is, I showed this to my kids and their punk ass friends, and I said, from now on, when you guys to make comments.
Bingo. And to us, whenever we bury you, you just be like, quarterback
you guys
carnival.
Bury me?
No. If we were to. Hey, let's talk about the Pro Bowl. You were down there. Felt like vibes were high. The guys were trying, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
And, people are always going to judge the things that are happening, and some people call it corny, some people call it terrible, some people call it whatever. This ain't the Pro Bowl. Obviously, it's not. But everybody's trying to keep the Pro Bowl a thing. Everybody's trying to keep it alive. Felt like the vibes, the energy, and the try-hardness of everybody was high. Is that what it felt like on the ground? And what's your big takeaway from the weekend?
Yeah, for sure. And it gradually grew, even from Wednesday, which was a couple of the competitions, again, closest to the pin, and then Thursday night, the skills challenge. And then going into the game obviously starts. I think the second play of the game, Tyreek goes the distance. No one looks like they're trying. And as you got into the fourth quarter, it got way more intense. I think Pat, I think Peyton and Eli have fully embraced it. and like made it. That throw was just absolutely. I don't care if he's in shorts and a t-shirt. That throw is absolutely ridiculous. That's
and you
Zach
beat him.
Wilson pro day throw.
You beat him at the quarterback corner.
No big deal.
You could have made that throw.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think like Peyton and Eli have like totally embraced it, and kind of embrace like the silliness of it and some of the like I guess the corniness of it, but also the true at the core competitiveness of it. Thursday night's awesome. You were there last year. Like Thursday night is so cool because the guys are so relaxed and you get to see a different, personality or side of them. And you get to watch those guys do things other than just play football, and just be on the football field. The closest to the pin stuff was fun. And you get to see a different side of those guys. They're so much more relaxed. And then the game, I tell people all the time, like if you want to bring your kids somewhere to a fun thing that you get to see, a little bit more access, like the Pro Bowl game is so much fun just to be around. So, Anger threw an absolute dart there.
Imagine he gets a hole in one right there.
Showing up all
it
the
was
golfers.
awesome, man. It was awesome. I think they figured it out, to find the happy medium of, what the Pro Bowl is now in 2024 and beyond rather than it was 20, 25 years ago. We're never going to have the Sean Taylor laying out the punter moment again. But I think they figured it out.
I appreciate the effort that everybody gave. Derrick Henry also a monster at dodgeball.
Unreal.
Oh, baby.
I don't think that was on the bingo cards. Is that Derrick Henry is going to be the one that's a problem out here?
Absolute headhunter.
Yeah, too big, right? Too big of a target.
Yep.
That's not what you want in dodgeball. But he ended up being one of the guys. There was a couple of drops of balls that I did not expect from guys. And you talk about Peyton and Eli. Ray was there. DeMarcus was there.
Yeah.
It's like everybody is kind of trying to revive and kind of keep this thing alive. And I thought you did a great job all weekend, Dan.
There you go, Dano.
I thought you did a great job all weekend.
It was cool. I lucked out, at being at Disney World. My family got to come with me too, so my kids got to have an awesome experience. All those guys are great. Like I tell everybody, and I keep saying it, like when you get the chance to go down there, I would tell anybody if there's anything you want to go like see as an NFL fan, bring them to that weekend. You get access to those players in a way that you just will never get in any type of forum other than that.
Okay, and the pop for some of the guys as they came out the tunnel there, and the weather, the football gods bless it because it was supposed to be terrible, I guess, in Florida weather. You never know what's going to come. Feels like it was a great weekend by all parties. It'll continue to evolve, I think.
Yeah.
We'll continue to keep the stuff that's good, get rid of this shit that's bad, and hopefully everybody continues to be invested. Now, let's talk about stuff that isn't the Pro Bowl. Connor has a question for you.
Yeah, Dan, obviously huge conversation right now is going on with how the, Cliff went to the Raiders and then he's going to the Commanders. And because of that, Caleb Williams now is possibly going to go to the Commanders because of Cliff Kingsbury. But obviously the Bears have the number one pick. Do you think they should stick with Justin Fields next year and kind of either trade that pick or take a Joe Alt or a Marvin Harrison Jr.? Or what do you think they're going to do there? And would you take Caleb Williams over Justin Fields?
Yeah, so if I'm Chicago, the more I've gotten away from the season, the more quarterback becomes the right choice at number one, and you trade Justin for as high as you can get. Justin showed a lot. I still go back to that press conference, right at the end of the season when Ryan Poles was like, Justin got better, and I think he can lead the team, but right when he said but, I feel like that was the line of demarcation. And again, as this, the time has gone on since the season, it feels like quarterback at number one is going to be the right choice. I think I lean Caleb right now. I haven't started these guys yet in studying them, and at least in the preference that I would have. But I think Caleb's just natural throwing, ability and then playmaking ability is going to be so unique. So you're trying to trade Justin for as much as you can get. Here's the thing with the whole, Cliff Kingsbury tie and whatnot. Obviously, Cliff's incredibly successful, and we've done this before. I think Mike Sherman with the Dolphins, went from A&M to the Dolphins, and then they drafted Tannehill, and there was like some, initial success, but maybe not sustained success for that grouping. We also just watched 5-6 years ago them take Cliff and Kyler and pair them together. And here's the thing that I would say about the rumors of him and Caleb, or really any quarterback for Washington with Cliff. The thing that you're going to love is the fact that Kyler Murray his first 2 years was really good. I think he accounted for I want to say something like 60 touchdowns and like less than 20 picks. So, really good, both throwing and running, and then obviously interceptions. But then there wasn't a ton of growth after that second year. Now, a small part of that was injury, but there wasn't a ton of like that third or fourth year jump in development. So you love the fact that, hey, we could take a young quarterback and we've got a guy that has the track record of getting that young quarterback to play well. They got to figure out why there wasn't that third or fourth year big jump or big development out of that player, when it comes to being the person under Cliff. So Washington, I think there's a bright side, but also a real side to it. And then for Chicago, it does feel like Caleb. But I would say this, I think all three of those top three kids that are getting their names mentioned, Caleb, Drake, and Jaden Daniels, are going to be in the conversation for one.
Can't wait to see who lands where. Obviously, that's going to be 2 months worth of conversation. Let's go to Las Vegas with D-Butch.
Yeah, and obviously it's going to be a big conversation. Who's going to develop them? Luke Getsy ended up being an OC in Vegas, after things fell through the Cliffs. What's your thoughts on him? And what should we expect from his offense in comparison to like a Cliff Kingsbury offense?
Yeah, Getsy's from the McShanahan tree. Harbaugh uses that term, and I've stolen it. The McShanahan tree, with the history that he had in Green Bay. I've heard nothing but tremendous stuff about Luke Getsy. I've sat with him, and I was impressed with him. Just my time with him. He was really understood their offense. He had a really good connection with trying to tie formations and run game and pass concepts together. I think the two thoughts I have on a debut of this. Number one, why did that offense look like that last year with Justin? That offense for the first 5 or 6 weeks was schematically a stupid offense. It was. And it was not what was necessary for that player and his skill and his talent. And then it changed, after Justin's, right before the injury and maybe after the injury, it was a totally different offense. So I would want to sit down and be like, why? Why did that offense look in many ways poor early and then much better, but also two different offenses? And then why did you get that young quarterback to play so hesitant? Because no one can tell me that young man did not play scared to make mistakes last year. You're supposed to come out last year guns a-blazing. And they were so tentative at quarterback. So, I think those would be conversations that I would want to figure out if I was the Raiders. And the second thing is you got to go jump if you're Las Vegas. Like, you got a good, talented defense. I think that Antonio Pierce is going to have that group playing incredibly tough. Yep. You got to go get a quarterback. You have no shot in that division. You have no shot if you don't get a guy. I'm talking about a freakazoid because Justin's going to play awesome. We know they have Patrick. So they would be the one team that I would sit here. It's February 5th. You have to go up in the draft and go get a guy.
Kirk Cousins still going to be available. You never know who would do what. And
not enough.
Russ?
Okay. Well, anyways, we're coming up on a hard out. Incredible job this weekend. You should be proud of your performance.